You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Welcome back to Miles from Main Street. Today, we're providing tips on experiences you can have at Walt Disney World while discussing our top 10 memories from visiting Disney World.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's a wild ride in the wilderness.
Hello, I am Brian Lewis, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Tammy.
Hi.
Hi. We can't wait to get into our top 10 memories. You know, it's the way it makes us feel that keeps us going back. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of a little up today. You're a little down today. We're going to come right in the middle and figure this out, right? But when we're at home, we'll find ways to escape and get back to Disney World, like watching videos, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts. It's kind of escapism too. Like we even get into tiki some because of Trader Sam's, don't we?
Yeah. We had to put it away though because of Wisconsin winters.
Wisconsin
Brian
winters.
was very sad.
I'm still very sad. It's an unfortunate thing to have to face winter in Wisconsin, especially when the tiki bar was so jiving this year.
Yeah, we used it a lot this year.
Yeah, and we had a really good time. But please like and subscribe to the show on your podcast app or on YouTube, and be sure to share it out. Remember, new episodes every Tuesday. Now, Tammy, did you know there's a new show coming on Friday?
I knew there was a new show coming, but I didn't know when it was coming.
It is. It's coming on Friday. It's going to be the Disney Dash, a short form podcast with my daughter Mia and I, and we'll be talking Disney A to Z from her perspective.
Yeah, she is super excited to do this with you.
I know. We've got the Disney A to Z book that is put out. This is the 4th edition we're going to be using, and this was put out by Dave Smith, who was the head archivist for many years for Disney. He was the guy that actually started the archives, and we're going to pick an item and discuss it. It's a very large book, but we're going to go A to Z, and we will, have a good time talking about it. She's, like you said, very excited.
Yep.
All right, so top memories from Disney World. Do you want to start?
Sure. Let's see. What one do I want to start with? I am going to start with when we went, just our family, just the 5 of us, to Animal Kingdom, and we are getting our picture taken in front of the Tree of Life, and Kevin photobombed us. And none of us knew that he was in the picture.
I had no idea
until after it was taken.
It was
awesome.
It was very awesome, and I remember, I was still trying to be like part of the picture, like I was going to be serious about the picture, and I'm still standing there, and people are kind of laughing, and the photographer wasn't really letting on at all.
No. I think we have a few pictures finally where we're all kind of like looking.
I think I was the last one. I finally went, oh, sweet. That was a great time.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite pictures.
Yes. And that was right after Kevin had debuted too.
Yep.
So that was some Disney magic right off the bat. Definitely find Kevin in the park if you get the chance.
Yeah.
He's really fun. Or she, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is a she.
She, yes. My first one would be the good old Main Street Electrical Parade. The very first time we took the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And my memory is sitting on the ground in the hub, waiting for the parade to come around. And actually, the parade was coming around. I had both kids on my knees, sitting cross-legged, which wasn't the most comfortable thing to have the kids on my knees at that point. But it was so much fun to sit there, and the parade actors, people, they were coming up to us and interacting with us as we were watching the parade. It was so much fun to do that, and I want to thank you for sitting there for an hour saving the spot for us.
It's a long time. And like I realized then too that like if you're just saving the spot for yourself and one other person, you'd probably be okay. But like I was spread out as much as one person can be, and I just kept getting the
Squished.
area I had was small, kept getting smaller and smaller. And I'm like, ugh. But yeah, but no, it was worth it. We were right up front. It was awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, and that was back when they gave out like good candy and stuff. That was, I mean, oh, that's a Halloween parade,
Yeah.
but like back, maybe I'm getting into one of your other memories. Sorry,
I'm
but,
not.
Like, I don't know. Like the parades are still awesome, but I feel like they used to be even more awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, you're kind of mixing the
I know I
Halloween
am,
and the
but-
electrical parade, but I do bring this one up because sometime next summer Disney's getting a new nighttime parade,
Yeah.
and it's called, I believe, Starlight. And it's I'm super excited for the Kingdom to get a nighttime parade back. I didn't think it was going to ever happen again.
Yeah, I've got a lot of fond memories of Main Street Electrical just from when I was younger and stuff. So I'm hoping it's just as good, if not
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. So it was a great memory to have with the kids. First time we had them there. So before I was a quote unquote Disney adult, it was quite awesome. What do you got next?
So I'm gonna throw way back to when I was young. And the first time I got to go, I was 6, and my grandpa took me on the Empress Lily
Oh,
for
yes.
the character breakfast.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but I had my little cowgirl outfit on with tassels and everything. And I just remember like it was awesome getting to meet those characters, hug them. I have a picture of like one of my favorite pictures of me is of me with Pluto and his tongue's like hanging in my face. And I don't know, like I don't remember a ton from that trip, but there's like 2 or 3 things that really stick out, and that's one of them. And I think like it was just extra special because it was just so the trip was me, my grandfather, and my mom and dad, but just my grandpa took me on this breakfast. So it was just him and I. And growing up, I really didn't do a lot of things just with him. So that was special.
That's very special, yes. Me being the historian that I tend to be with Disney, I was super excited to hear this history because this was the very first iteration of a character meal that you were able to take part in, which when I realized that, I went looking for your memory photo book right away, and you did have a certificate from it.
Yeah, so they put like pictures of like a bunch of characters and like their signatures because I don't think back then I don't think they signed things, or maybe just everybody got that. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And if no one really is aware, the Empress Lily is now, oh my gosh, is it still paddlefish? I don't think it's paddlefish anymore, is it?
I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but
so it's the big paddle wheel boat that is on the water there in Disney Springs. And they were doing a breakfast there that they had the characters, and it was something they were trying out, and it ended up becoming popular, and it was just breakfast. And it slowly moved into other things and getting bigger and bigger and becoming the character meal animal that it is now. But to think back and look at kind of the evolution, where I think they started with a Santa meal first, and then they moved into having characters after the Christmas thing was over. And knowing you were there at that time, like I'm always intrigued with things that I never got to take part in and be, and see and enjoy. And have that connection, I guess, that you were there for that. So
Na, 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 na.
you're so nice.
No.
Well, leading off of yours, one of my great memories, and I tell every person that's going there for the first time that they have to go to Chef Mickey's. It's quintessential Disney at this point. You're sitting in the Contemporary, one of the very first resorts to have opened. You've got the monorail going right past you, and you're meeting the Fab Five: Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Pluto. And the first time that we went back in 2016, this was the first thing we did when we got there, was we went and did breakfast, and then we headed over to Epcot. And we got to have all three kids at the breakfast. We met all of the characters while we were there. It was very exciting and very hectic at times. Just trying to grab food while not missing a character. And it was kind of like a first time for us because we had never really done a character meal before. And being able to, like trying to figure out when to grab food. And it was more, I think, had we realized at the time that this was the time period that the characters are coming by, that we should just wait, enjoy the characters, then get our food.
See, yeah, I would count that as not one of my favorite memories because we didn't know what we were doing. Like, I would like to go back there now because now we know that, like, just go do your thing and you're going to see everyone. And if there's someone you missed, you just tell the cast member, like, hey, we never got to see Pluto. Can you have him come by our table before we leave or whatever?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because when I do tell people, like, go to Chef Mickey's, I always forget that part. Yeah. Like, it's pretty crazy, but make sure you let the attendant, the waitress, waiter, whoever it might be, cast member, know. And I do remember them asking, did everyone get over here?
Yeah, I just remember, like, because it was our first one, like, we were all gonna, like, there were a few times we were gonna go up to get food, and I was like, wait, no, here comes whatever, we have to stay here.
I remember that as well. Yeah, and I do remember having the thought, it shouldn't be this stressful.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be. So when you go, make sure that you're doing that. Make sure you're paying attention to who is there, who's coming by to visit you, and making sure that you do get to see everyone, because they want to make sure that you see everyone. That is the beauty of Disney. They want to make sure that you're happy and that you're getting what you paid for. So, take your time, make sure you let them know what's going on, and it's a great time.
Back to me, huh?
Back to you.
So I picked one for all of us, one for me when I was little. So now I had to pick one for each of our kids. So I'll start with Jacob. One of my favorite memories is when Princess Tiana kissed him.
Oh, yes.
So it was funny because, like, leading up to it, he was like, I really don't want to meet her, but I have this stupid sister, so I have to. And then we got up there and she was just like, he's so cute, whatever. And, like, I've still, to this day, like, never seen that happen again. So I don't know if it's something that commonly happens, that, like, a princess will kiss a boy on a cheek or whatever, but he had her lipstick stain. We caught it on a picture. Yep. When we got back, it was the first thing his sister had to tell her class about the trip because he was so embarrassed and upset that it happened. But I think secretly he really wasn't.
No, I think he loved the attention and that she kissed him. I mean, it was pretty funny talking about it with him, though. That was a great memory. I know. And I feel like the line wasn't very long for her either.
It was. She was back in that, like, gazebo, and I just don't know if people maybe didn't know she was back there because it's, a little hidden back there.
It is, yeah. And so that gazebo is back behind the Christmas shop that is in Liberty Square. So if you walk down the bridge into Liberty Square, you got Sleepy Hollow on one side, you got the Christmas shop on your left, And before the Christmas shop, there's a little walkway that goes behind those buildings, and there's a gazebo that's back there, and a lot of times they'll have characters meeting in there. So don't be afraid to walk back there. I think people enough know that someone's there, but a lot of times people may just kind of happen upon it and not realize that someone is there. So
Yep.
you can get over to Adventureland from there as well on that same walkways, just to give you an idea of where that would be. But yeah, great spot, great interaction. Glad you brought that one up. um one of mine is also character related, and it goes to the first time Mia got to go to the parks, and she was so excited to show Chewbacca her shirt.
Yes.
And we have this wonderful picture, and I believe I was holding her up to Chewbacca's height, and she's looking down at her shirt, and she's kind of like trying to say, look, I have Chewbacca on my shirt. I have you on my shirt. But the way it looks in the picture, she's got her head down and he's putting his forehead to her.
Mhm.
And it's just this like beautiful moment with Chewbacca. And she was into Chewbacca. I was kind of forcing her into Chewbacca at the time. It didn't work out as well as I had hoped, but it was a great moment and a great memory. And I'm so glad we got that picture.
Yeah, it's a really good picture. I was holding her up actually.
We're
But
okay.
that's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't remember.
It is a really cool picture and a cool moment. Yeah, I personally thought she was gonna be scared to death of him, but I think she loved him the most of almost anyone that trip.
Yeah, I think so too. She was enamored, and then we met Kylo Ren after that, and she had no interest. Like, we were all kind of weirded out by him because it was a villain, it's just weird.
Yeah, he was very like intimidating.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Chewbacca, I don't believe he meets anymore on his own. Actually, I think he does. If you go over towards the Star Wars, what do they call that? Launch Bay, which is in the like Disney Junior area. It's in the back of that. He does meet back there, if I remember correctly. I have seen live streams recently, so you can meet him. He also likes to walk around in Galaxy's Edge, so if you go back there, you might be able to run into him there. He doesn't really stop and meet with people. He'll maybe take a selfie here and there, but he's kind of moving around a lot there, where if you go to Launch Bay and he's meeting there, then you can get a moment with him, take some pictures. So yeah, I just loved meeting Chewbacca that time.
So mine's a character again with Paige. The first time that we took them and she got to meet her first princess, like I will just never forget the smile and the look in her eyes when she walked up to Aurora and Cinderella. Like it was like that perfect age where she was just like mesmerized by all the magic.
Memories,
whatever. But yeah, she just loved meeting them. You could tell she like thought she was actually meeting the princess right out of the movie. Those are some of the really good photo pass pictures that we have.
Yeah, and the look on her face is what I remember the most, because she was eating it up, and like the magic was real with her. There was no false pretenses going on. It was like, oh my gosh, this is Rapunzel. Oh my gosh, this is Cinderella. It was amazing.
Yep.
I think Jacob even had a great time with it too, because he was kind of feeding off of that, like he wasn't interested in meeting the princesses, but when he got there, and this is this was the first trip, I'm sorry. But when he got there, he was like, this is really cool.
Yeah, I think like it didn't hurt that they're pretty and like they were calling him Prince Charming,
Yeah.
So
But yes, I will never forget the look on Paige's face when she was meeting those princesses. And she's sitting right here listening to us, giving us some silly faces now.
Yeah.
So I have 2 more to go to, and I'm not sure which one to go to next, but you guys, regular listeners of the show, know how much I profess about California Grill. I will, to the end of my days, tell you that one of the greatest experiences you can have with your significant other is to go to California Grill and have a meal and watch the fireworks. It's a very romantic and magical time, and I will go there all the time if I could. I got to do it with you on our anniversary.
Yeah.
And then we went back more recently with Kylo and Kristen and got to enjoy it there with them, which was also a really good time.
Yeah, so I ended up being sick when we went on our anniversary, so I actually didn't eat anything. So I had been like begging to go back there ever since then because Brian kept saying how amazing the food was. And I am, very glad we went back. I will go there again and again, even though there's lots of other places we haven't been yet. But I will tell everyone too, like it's like you're down in the park, you're watching Happily Ever After with the projections and stuff. It's amazing. But you go and you watch it up at California Grill, and it's a whole different experience because you're more focused on the fireworks themselves than anything else. And you can really see like all the different shapes they're making and stuff, which I never realized before because when I'm down in the park, I'm watching the castle. I'm not really watching, like I'm watching the fireworks, but only the ones that are going off like right above the castle, and I'm not watching them enough to notice that they're making shapes. So
yeah, I mean, and that's the fun part of it, Happily Ever After, is that there's so much going on that you want to watch it over and over again. And you know, like until we did that, I did not fully respect the perspective that they need to pull off to have those fireworks exactly over the castle the way that they do. You know, when you get up there, you realize that the big fireworks are shot a ways behind the castle. So you might see the castle, you know, like this is at a different angle from California Grill. So you see the castle here, but you're going to see fireworks back away. And there, you know, there's different launch points because there are some from the side of the castle as well. So it's really neat to get that perspective, but also because the show is just so crazy. I mean, with all the projections and all of the fireworks, like it's nice to take the projection piece out of it.
Yeah, and I'll say too, like I think it's a fine place to take your family if you can afford to take them all there. But there is something to be said too about being out on their balcony and watching it with your significant other because you're not crammed in like crazy like you are down in the park, and you can still hear the music. You can't like see the projections exactly, but you can like a little bit. But you can see the fireworks, and it's just like a much more intimate romantic experience watching it that way.
And you get the music pumped in so you can hear it just fine. And you might pick something up that you don't hear over somebody talking next to you or holding a phone in front of you, or it's like you said, it's more intimate, and you just get a great view.
Yeah.
You got one more?
I have so many more that I don't know which one to pick.
Yes.
Right? Because like Paige had mentioned one which was going to be one of mine, but now I feel like I shouldn't use it because she said I was going to. So I'm going to go with one that's just Mia since I did one for the other kids.
Okay.
But there's two with her, and I don't want to take one of them because I don't know if it's going to be your last. Is it going to be your last one?
Go for it.
I don't know.
Well, honorable mention is a thing. You are able to, yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to go with when we took her when she was 3, and she was completely off her sleep schedule because we took a very, very early morning
Oh my
flight, and we
goodness.
thought she would recover it from it, and she never did. And she only wanted Brian the entire time that we were there, and she was just a mess.
She was. It
So
was crazy.
we were at you have to help me out with the name of the quick service inside Coronado.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. It's not called that anymore. I want to say it was called. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, I'm blanking on
Anyway,
it. Yeah.
At the time it was a quick service in Coronado Springs, and we had went there, and my mom was with us for this trip too, but she was just being a beast at that dinner.
Mia, not her mom.
Yes, Mia.
Yeah.
She purposely like took her chocolate milk and like chucked it across the table and spilled it all over the floor. And like you were yelling at her, I was yelling at her.
We were
I
all
don't know who was yelling at her. She's like screaming and crying, and here comes a cast member with ice cream.
Yep.
Oh, here, have some ice cream. Don't cry. It's Disney. And we're like,
she was, yeah, it was one of those moments that it's like, okay, free ice cream, but like, do we actually want to give it to her?
I know, but it was almost like you felt like you didn't have a choice because like it just appeared. Like we didn't even know where it came from. It was just there. And he was handing it to her. And
I know.
Like, how do you
yeah.
say no?
Yeah.
And
I'm rewarding my kid for being naughty.
That was like the first time that I was like, okay, like it doesn't matter. We're at Disney. Like whatever. She spilled chocolate milk, she gets ice cream. That's just how it works here.
Yeah, that was not the best. I don't know. It's hard to tell a stranger no to ice cream, I guess. But I believe the name of it is El Mercado de Coronado. Is that the new name of it?
I think so.
Paige is nodding her head yes. Okay.
Yeah. That like memory reminds me of the time that she wouldn't fall asleep at Animal Kingdom either, and you would walk her forever, and then like I took over, and she was like hot and crying, and some man wanted to buy her ice cream, and this was just a customer, and I was like, no, she doesn't need ice cream, she needs to go to sleep.
She was completely off schedule. Which, try to keep your kids on schedule, but your kids the best.
Yeah.
At 3.5, we were kind of like, whatever, if she can fit on the ride, she's going on the ride, which may not have been the best idea, but we wanted her to get on everything we could.
I think part of it too is she's always been tall for her age, so she probably got on a few things that, like, I'm thinking of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Like, we probably shouldn't put her on that.
She did all right, though.
She didn't love it, but
no,
she was okay.
It may have ruined her because now it's hard to get her on certain roller coasters. And I'm looking at you, Guardians. She's coming. We're coming next week. We're going to be at Disney World next week, and we're getting her on Guardians, whether she likes it or not.
Well, she's agreed to it now, but she's not very happy about it.
No.
If she hates it, we're never going to hear the end of it.
But she loves rock and roller coaster, so I feel like there's no way she could hate this.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
All right, what's your last one?
Well, I wanted to finish up on Mia a little bit, and just knowing your kids, like, you want to know when they're going to lose it, right? Maybe you can catch them before, like us, like we did not catch. Like I thought with early morning flight that she would sleep on the plane. No, she was a wild terror on the plane, and we never gave her that chance to catch up after that. And I think that was, we set ourselves up for not success. So, just know your kids' cues, give them the breaks that they need, and you're going to have a great time with your kids.
Yeah. And remember that, like, I know a lot of people don't like to build in days off when they go to Disney because some people aren't as lucky as us. Like it's a once in a lifetime thing for them, or they only go a couple times, so they want to pack in everything that they can. But these kids, like these younger kids especially, swimming in the resort pools, like 9 times out of 10 you come back and you ask them what their favorite thing they did was, and it was swimming.
I know.
So like, yes, go to the parks and do the fun stuff that you want to do, but you don't have to be there from open to close. Like give yourself some time to relax and enjoy your resort too.
And I think, the first time we took Mia, I think that was one of our mistakes, is that because we hadn't been in 4 years and we didn't think we'd be coming back, and we wanted to pack in everything that we could and, learn from our mistake. Don't do that. All right. So my last one, I'm going back to our honeymoon.
Okay.
I do actually have a fond memory that I can think of once in a while. And, it's been a few short years since we got married. Right. But it was rainy season a little bit when we were there. And so we did have some periods of rain. We just throw on our poncho and go. We had come out of, time to date myself, we had come out of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was pouring down rain. We stood there for a little bit thinking about what we should do. Do we wait it out in this little corridor with 100 other people?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we just throw on the ponchos? I was wearing sandals because that's what I always wore at the time. Throw it on and go. And we did. We walked from basically where Toy Story Land is now all the way up to Tower of Terror. And by the time we got there, it was done raining and nobody was in line. Like everyone just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to go on Rock and Roller Coaster. I talked you into Tower of Terror. And then we went back on Rock and Roller Coaster all within a few minutes.
Yep.
And it was walk-ons that whole time. And it was incredible. And like, I know this still happens. It starts raining and people run. They're either running for a meal or they're running out of the park. And I don't know what they're thinking, because usually the rains in Florida are short. But they, like a lot of times if you stay for the rain, and I remember this from the very, very first time I got to go, it rained and my mom and her friend wanted to go back to the room. It was raining. They were done. I said, I'm going to Magic Kingdom. And I ran around Magic Kingdom all by myself and there was nobody there. So, like these are things that happened back when the parks weren't quite as busy as they are now. So you're not going to quite get walk-ons all the time, but stick around when it rains. Throw on that poncho. If you have some sandals with you, flip-flops maybe, throw those on and just go. Have a good time. Some of the rides might close down because of the rain, but I'm telling you, do what you can in that rain, and then when it's done, you're going to have some short lines for a little while. It's a great time to be in the parks. And a rainy day in a park, in a Disney park, is better than any day at work.
Yes.
So, yeah, but our honeymoon was awesome that we got to do that.
Agreed.
And I remember Epcot was always wet, like the whole day.
The whole time, yeah.
And I still cannot remember who it was that we ran into on the promenade as we were walking in the rain somewhere, but it was a quick hello. And I know it's always fun to meet people or see people in places like that. All right, so that was fun. Memories. We want to hear your memories. Let us know on the text line. If you go to the show notes, it'll say send us a text, and you can, right from your phone, send us a text and let us know your memory. We will also love to hear it on Facebook and Instagram or on YouTube. Put it down in the comments.
Melissa Pilgrim is our choice for your next Disney vacation. You can reach her at amagicalpilgrimage@gmail.com. We thank her for her support.
So thank you, everybody, for watching, listening. Remember, episodes are every Tuesday, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and we want to know your memory. Send in your memories, and we will read them on the show. But as we like to say, some live close,
but others don't.
so let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.